welcome back to another episode of Sit with Shy. Today I'm joined with Monique, and we're going to have a little bit of a conversation about like what does she do for work, how does she manage to balance everything that she does, and then still kind of make time for herself. Because I think it's very important to try and make time for yourself in this day and age. So before we get on to the questions, do you want to like briefly introduce yourself and tell everyone what you do?
Okay. Hey everyone, I'm Monique. I'm a teaching assistant in a hearing impaired school. It specializes in hearing impairment and speech and language communication needs. And yeah, on the weekends I work in a playground as well.
So like Monique does a lot, to be fair, and I actually admire her because I don't know how she manages to do each of her jobs and still find time to like always smile and have a lot of energy. So that's really admirable of her.
Thank
So
you.
like you're welcome. Honestly, it's a superpower. What does like an average day look like for you, would you say?
So depending on the day, honestly, I wake up like last minute because I like my sleep a lot. So I'll wake up in the last minute, obviously get dressed, get ready and stuff like that. I'll go to work, come home. I'll be really tired from work, but still have enough energy. I'll probably cook or order takeaway if I'm feeling lazy. Eat and then yeah, shower, get ready for bed and go
Yeah.
to sleep. And then the same thing continues the next day. Unless it's a Sunday, then it's slightly different.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
find it like confusing kind of remembering where you need to go and for like what time and stuff like that? Or not really?
Not really, because Google Calendars are really
Okay.
helpful. So everything that I'm doing, whether it's like meeting a friend, meet like doing something with family members, I'll schedule it in my Google Calendar and I'll put exactly the time I'm doing it and what I'm doing, where it is and stuff like that.
Mhm. Do you think to be able to like balance, if someone wanted to balance a lot of jobs or maybe they have a lot of activities that they want to balance, do you think you have to be like a really scheduled person in order to make it work? Or is it a skill that you need to develop?
Yeah, I definitely think it helps to be a schedule person, but you can definitely develop the skill. I don't know. I think with me personally, I'm quite a I like to have a schedule and I like to have structure in
Mm.
everything that I do. So that sort of helps. But I think if you're more of a person that likes having a lot more free time and chilling a lot more, then yeah, then it might not work for you.
Yeah. So like how do you balance each job? Is it the kind of thing where they require the same sort of skills? Do you have to like kind of like prep yourself before you go in from like one job to another? How's the transition between all of them?
That's a good question. I think for me, most of my jobs are quite similar. So
Mm.
they're all in this sort of caring profession. So I don't have to sort of get into a different mode. Like they're not completely different. Like if I had, for example, one retail job, one school job, and another different job, it might be more tricky to get into the mode of each one. But I think for me, because they're all quite similar, um, yeah, it just works.
Yeah. Did you pick those like particular positions for the fact that they are quite similar, and it kind of would have been a bit easier for you, or did it just kind of happen?
I think it just kind of happened. Like, it's just how it worked out because they're the kind of jobs that I enjoy. I really enjoy working with people and caring for people. So they're the sort of jobs that I applied for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. So like, how long have you been balancing everything that you've been doing, or have you always just been really busy in terms of like your day-to-day life?
Well, it's been a while. Well, I graduated last year, so since graduating, I've sort of had multiple jobs. But even when I was studying, I was working on the weekend as well, so I was also balancing that. So yeah, I think for as long as I can remember, I've been pretty busy. Since I was like 15 and I could like volunteer,
Mm.
I've been doing schoolwork, volunteering or working, schoolwork, uni, yeah,
Yeah.
balancing it.
Oh wow. So it's been like a long while that you've been doing kind of what you're doing, it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah, it has. But I enjoy it, so that definitely helps. Yeah.
What do you think is like the best thing about what you do?
Ooh, I think the best thing about what I do is the fact is the I get the chance to meet so many amazing people, and even the children, for example,
Mm.
they just say the wildest things, and like they really they're funny, and it yeah, I think just talking with people keeps me going. I think
Yeah.
that's the best thing.
Hmm. So like how do you manage? I know different people have different ways of like managing their stress when like jobs and life kind of gets a bit too much. How do you personally manage your stress in between jobs?
I think self-care is really important. So I have a self-care
Hmm.
routine. Um, and that consists of like spending downtime by myself, like allowing myself to do things like be on my phone for a little while, or read a book, or watch a movie, have a long bath. Also spending time with friends and family.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, they're all little things that I do to take part in self-care. And yeah, just allowing myself to feel different emotions and yeah, just relax, really try and relax as much as I can.
That sounds good. So you mentioned about like reading and like watching films or shows. Like what are you
Yeah.
reading or what are you watching at the moment?
Okay. So I just finished watching Top Boy on Netflix.
Yeah.
It was really good. But the ending kind of upset me. I'm not gonna spoil it. The
Yeah.
ending was kind of annoying. But I've just started watching on Netflix another show, but I can't remember the name of it, which is really
Mm.
unhelpful. It's about a family who they've been abducted by the dad. And
Mm.
it's a Dutch series. So I don't know if that will maybe some people will know like that
Yeah.
explanation, but I'm not very good at explaining things. And I'm reading a book called A Million Little Pieces. Yeah,
Hmm. That sounds
and it's
good.
really
So
good.
it sounds like you have a lot of in like your spare time. Um, do you do anything else other than like reading? I really enjoy reading in my spare time too. Do you do any other activities?
Yeah, I do loads. I do a lot of art, um, different things like embroidery,
Hmm.
crocheting, knitting, painting. Yeah, anything artistic, like you name it, I'll really want to try it or would have tried it, would have done it. Also, anything music related. So like I like playing the piano, and I like singing. Um, yeah.
That's lovely. So do you find those things like therapeutic? I can imagine it being therapeutic and just taking time to yourself to do those things.
Yeah, definitely. I find them therapeutic and I feel like they exercise a different type of the brain than like when you're working or when you're doing something academic. I definitely think like creativity is really important.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you because we work in similar sort of fields in terms of like working with young people. There will be some moments where you might feel a bit low because obviously you're taking on a lot of like maybe whatever the students are dealing with and stuff like that. How do you manage with like feeling low and then going to like your next job afterwards? What do you do?
I definitely take the time to talk about things with my colleagues. Well, we have
Mm.
like regular meetings about the children's well-being and stuff like that. So that helps to manage any feelings of like stress or any like concerns I have with the students or my own well-being. But personally, I also go to art therapy, which is really good. And I'm definitely an advocate for therapy of any sort, any kind, because I just feel like it really helps you to process all the emotions that you go through on a day-to-day basis.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I've heard of art therapy, but like what do you actually do there? Do you like draw how you're feeling or like what do you do at art therapy?
So it's actually quite interesting. Like you don't have to draw what you're feeling. You can draw anything. So
Mm.
some weeks I'll literally draw like I don't know, landscape drawing of like an ocean and sky and stuff like that. Um,
Mm.
or you can draw what you're feeling. You can also do painting, clay, any um mode of art that the therapist has in her room, which is quite a lot to choose from. And then you'll sort of look at the piece that you've created and discuss with the therapist like what you think, like what you feel it represents, and they might
Mm.
give ideas on what they think um the feelings are shown in the piece that you've created. And it's actually
Mm.
really interesting because sometimes you might think it's just like a red cloud or something that you're drawing, but that could represent like angry thoughts or like passing thoughts as a cloud, or like the colors really signify different emotions, which is interesting.
That sounds really
Yeah,
cool. I didn't know that all of that happens within an art therapy session. That's really cool.
yeah, it's really interesting.
Do does it motivate you to know that even though you're working so much and then you're feeling very tired, does it motivate you to know that you are like changing people's lives and you are helping them because you actually are?
Yeah, definitely. It motivates me every day, like knowing that I'm working with people that might be like, I don't like using the word vulnerable, but some people do
Mm,
use that word to describe themselves, but like vulnerable people, um, or even like people that um what's I don't know how to phrase this. They don't have access to the world in the same way. For example, hearing impaired people, like deaf people, um, they they have limited access. But I'm not here to like save anyone, but
mm,
I think it just helps working with people that um I don't know. Yeah, it just helps working with these people because I think
yeah.
if I was in their position, like if I was a child in the playground in like a disadvantaged area,
Mm,
like the one that I work in, um, if I had a role model to look up to, it would be it would make my life a lot easier. Does that make sense? Yeah.
yeah, 100%. I definitely get what you're trying to say. Um, at the moment, is there anyone that you particularly look up to that kind of like motivates you to kind of keep going at the moment?
That's a hard question.
Oh no, you don't have to, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I can't think of anyone that
Hmm.
like a celebrity.
Doesn't have to be a celebrity. It could be a family member. It could be your friend. It could be God. Anyone that's motivating you. Anyone, literally.
Well, definitely Jesus. Always motivating
Yeah,
me. Yeah.
that's the best answer.
Um, yeah. I can't think of a celebrity, which is really bad because like usually people will just be like, yeah, it's celebrity. But I don't know. Um, yeah, I look up to several people, but I can't think of one that's standing out to me right now.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, like, do you feel like you get enough sleep? And if you don't, what could you advise people who like are constantly on the go? What could they do to get enough sleep?
I 100% feel like I get enough sleep. I feel like I get too much sleep, which is, yeah, it's interesting because, yeah, I love my sleep and I think it's definitely important for your mental health, for the here and now, but also like in the future, like your life expectancy, like seriously,
Mm,
declines when you don't have enough sleep. Like psychological studies have proven that. So I just think if you're not getting enough sleep, then I'd recommend to have a proper sleep routine before
mm,
you go to sleep. So something like playing some quiet, like some soft, relaxing music,
yeah.
having a bubble bath, drinking some chamomile tea. Um, yeah. Maybe writing a list of things that are on your mind if you have some things in your mind. Um, but yeah, definitely would recommend sleep. Sleep is important.
Yeah. It is very important. And I think once you have like a good night's sleep or like good quality sleep, it really does set you up for the day ahead. Well, I know that if I don't sleep well, I get really grouchy. So I know that sleep is important. So yeah. Um,
100%. 100%.
do you find your balance between like work and social life, do you find it easy at the moment, or is it a bit tricky because of obviously you work between so many jobs?
Honestly, it's quite difficult fitting people in around my work because at the moment I'm working like 6 days a week most
Mm,
weeks. Um, so yeah, it's quite tricky because I also go to church on Sunday. So
mhm.
fit people in, it would have to be like after church on Sunday or like after a shift, which I'm like low energy a lot of the time. So it is quite tricky, but I'd say like I don't know. I'd say I don't know advice for that. I think just calendar in what you can, but don't like give yourself like try not to like give yourself too much that you can't handle. Like allow yourself to feel um like allow yourself to recharge as well. Yeah.
Cool. So like, do you give yourself like a buffer in between each thing? So like, let's say for example, you have work and then like you give yourself like an hour or two to kind of have a break and then go and see your friends. Is that how you kind of schedule it throughout the week if you did meet someone after work?
I try to like give myself at least time to like shower, change, and meet someone, but that's not always possible. So
Mm,
sometimes it's just like work straight away, go to meet someone, and then
mm,
after I'll be able to just relax. But yeah, I try, but it's not
yeah,
always possible.
I understand. Yeah. Um, so like, do you think it's worth it working so many jobs? Because obviously you're going to get more money the more jobs that you do, but then the downside is obviously that you're going to get taxed a lot. So what's the pros and cons, do you think, for it?
Yeah, definitely. I think I don't know. I'd say it's worth it because I'm doing it, but I'm biased. I did
Yeah.
have this conversation with a colleague actually the other day, and she was saying like it's not even worth it because the amount of tax you get. But me personally, I don't just work for the money. I work because I enjoy what I do. I work
Mm,
because like if I wasn't working, I don't know what I'd be doing. Like everyone else is at work, so might as well just do like I can't meet up with friends. They're all at work, so I might as well be by myself. And then I just think like I'd be bored at home, even though I have a lot of hobbies. I think eventually like I would be bored. So it's something with work, it gives me something new to do every day. Every day
mhm,
is different and I enjoy it. So I'd say that's a massive pro. But yeah, the cons definitely tax, definitely like energy levels, feeling quite tired. Um, and yeah, the money that goes into like traveling to work and stuff like that, food as well, like buying
yeah.
packed lunches and stuff, even though I would have to eat if I was at home. So that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
But but yeah, just a little cost like that.
Mhm. Um, do you think that by working so much, it's helped to take your mind off of certain things? So, like, has it helped your mental health at all?
Yeah, definitely. I think it helps because I don't know, I'm the type of person where there's probably a lot of people like this, but like when I'm alone, my thoughts like can be quite loud, if that makes
Mm,
sense. So I'll
yeah.
just be thinking of um I don't know, what if this happens? What if that happens? Like I'll just maybe worry over silly little things. When I'm
Mm,
at work, there's literally no time to think about anything other than doing the job.
mhm,
So it has helped my mental health in a way, yeah.
yeah. Do you think that you would like this is like a long-term thing for you because you obviously you've been doing it for so many years now and you've become accustomed to it. Do you think it's something that you'd want to continue like long term? And is it sustainable?
Yeah, I don't know how sustainable it is balancing like multiple jobs, but
Mm,
I definitely think working full time is something I'll do till I retire probably,
yeah.
unless I win the lottery, which I don't play. So so
Fair
yeah,
enough.
I guess it's something I'll carry on doing.
I think it's so cool, honestly. But like, what's your opinion? Do you think that, like, in this day and age and in this economy, do you think that it's going to become a thing where people have to work multiple jobs to kind of like stay afloat?
I definitely think, yeah, if you're not earning like a lot in your like in your job, in your normal job, then you might have to have a side hustle or a business or another job, um, or all of the above,
Yeah.
honestly, because it's a bit like a yeah, it's a rat race, especially living in London. Um, like prices go up every year, like rent and
Mm,
bills, and everything. So it is probably a thing where people will have to have multiple jobs or like work extra hours on their um only job.
mhm.
Yeah.
Um, one question that I wanted to ask as well is how could people find jobs? So I have like you as an example and another friend, you guys are like really good at like getting jobs. Like what tips or secrets would you tell somebody who wants to apply for something new?
I would say like really work on your CV. Um, there's like things online that can help you write it. Personally, I've always written it myself, so I don't know well, I've always like asked friends, family to help me as well, not just
Mhm.
myself. But yeah, there's things online that can write like AI. If you need a cover letter, there's literally websites online um that can, if you type in like, I don't know, probably AI cover letter robot something, can help you write one. So yeah, I'd just say apply to as many as you can. Don't be disheartened if you don't get the job. Like I've obviously not got every job that I've applied for. It's impossible to get every job you've applied for, probably. Um, yeah, I'd say the more interviews you do, the better you get at it. It's one of those things like I don't think anyone's born like good at interviews. You just have to keep going to them, keep showing up. Um, and yeah, I'd definitely say like certain jobs are easier to get, like agency
Yeah,
jobs are quite easy to get. Whereas like if you want to work in a school, applying through the school, there's like limited um positions. But then the
mhm,
downside of agency work is they take a cut out of your wage. So
yeah,
it just depends what you want, really. Yeah.
true. That's some good advice, to be fair. Thank you so much. Um,
Sorry.
is there like a particular platform? Because I know some people they're like, oh, use Indeed. Some people it's literally just type in Google and see what comes up. Like, what would you advise?
Yeah, there's LinkedIn. That's really good for
Mm,
jobs. Indeed is good as well. That's a good one. There's an app called Jobs Today. That's pretty good as well.
mm.
Um, yeah, I think they're the top three, I'd say.
Do you think that like your experience has definitely helped you when it's come to like getting these multiple jobs that you have? Because they're all very similar, but do you think that gaining experience in one has kind of led you to get the job in another, if that makes any sense?
Yeah, definitely. I think for some jobs you don't need experience or anything. They'll train you up. Like nannying jobs, for example, some of them you don't need any experience. But for something like a teaching assistant, you might need some experience. So I think having these multiple jobs has helped. Like, yeah, yeah, in the short, in to say it in the short way, yeah.
Do you ever see yourself doing something completely different than the field that you're doing now and then kind of like balancing that with what you're doing at the moment? Or probably not?
Um, I don't know. I don't want to say like yes or no because I don't know
Yeah,
what the future holds. Like it's all in God's plan. I just
true.
think I'm enjoying what I'm doing now, so I wouldn't be like super mad if that's all I do.
Hmm.
But then I also have dreams to become an occupational therapist, which is kind of different to what I'm doing now.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm not sure really.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I understand. As you said, we don't know what the future holds, and it is in God's hands. So what happens, happens. And as long as you're enjoying what you're doing now, that's the main thing, isn't it? So yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Another question I wanted to ask you is obviously you meet people from like different walks of life, and people who have like different experiences and stuff like that. Is there any like useful tips or anything that you've picked up from them that you've kind of like implemented in your day to day like jobs?
Oh, that is a good question. Let me think. I think just like I remember someone that I met, I was having a conversation with them and they were just saying like just take one day at a time, really.
Mm,
Which sounds like really simple advice, but it actually really is important to just take one day at a time and not like
mm,
think so far ahead in the future. Um, and also not to like dwell on the past too much. So yeah, I
mm.
think that's important to just take one day at a time, one step at a time with everything really. Yeah.
I think that's really good, to be fair. Especially with me, I am someone who can kind of like think very, very far ahead. But as you said, when you take things a chunk at a time, a step at a time, it makes things more bearable, a lot more easier. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Um, would like how on a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you say that you enjoy being busy all the time? I know that you say like you're used to it and stuff like that, but like how
Yeah.
much do you actually enjoy being busy all the time?
I think I'd say a solid 8. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
like being, yeah, I do like it. Um, I'd say the two that I'd say not 10 because like I do have my down days and stuff like that. But I'd say majority of the time, like I enjoy it. Yeah, it is. It is good to be busy all the time. Well, for me anyway. Not for, it's not for everyone.
Mhm. Do you think that like your personality, um, like to work all these different jobs and to go from one job to another, do you always have to be like really upbeat in what you're doing? Because obviously you're interacting and working with different people, or do you have the like the space to kind of just like have mellow days where you're not always like happy and outgoing and stuff like that? Yeah.
I think that it depends on the job really. In when you're working with people, I think um I don't know, it doesn't force you to be happy and bubbly all the time, but it kind of does in a way. Um, but I do think
Yeah.
like we are only human, so it is okay to also have those quiet days and those tired days. And trust me, I have a lot of those. Sometimes, even though it seems like I'm always happy, like there are times where I'm walking around the school and some of the TAs or teachers are like, "Are you okay? You look very tired." And it's okay, like then they won't shun you for it. Um,
Mm,
but it also shows people like it's nice to have people check on you as well. So yeah.
that's really true. Um, and I think lastly, like what final words would you give to someone who's struggling to balance work, social life, and like general life at the moment?
Um, someone that's struggling to balance work and social life. I'd
Mhm.
say get a calendar and use the calendar like not religiously, but like
Yeah.
try and follow the calendar. But also, if you're struggling to balance work and social life, then and also like your own time, even
Mm,
scheduling like time for yourself. Like you can write in your calendar like 20 minutes to read a book or like half an hour to watch a movie. Well,
mm,
you don't watch a movie in half an hour, but you get what I mean. Like
mhm.
scheduling time for yourself as well.
I think those are some really good words. And I just want to say thank you as well, because I know you're very busy and you gave it your time to like be here. So thank you so much.
No worries at all. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So hopefully you guys can take some of the advice or listen to some of the things that Monique has said, and then hopefully it can help you in your day to day, especially if you're looking to like find multiple jobs or if you're currently doing it at the moment. So yeah, take some encouragement in what she said. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode.